guys, I'm Hillary. Welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for being here. So in this video, I'm going to continue to debunk some common period myths. And this one that I'm going to be talking about today really gets me fired up because there is so much information out there from credible sources that claim that this is totally normal and totally healthy, which just boggles my mind. Many people I've spoken to actually think this is normal as well, and I in fact used to be one of those people. So what am I talking about exactly? I am talking about the myth that it is totally normal and fine to use hormonal contraceptives to skip your period on purpose. Now, don't get me wrong. I totally see how skipping your period could seem like a great idea. Periods are a pain. They disrupt our daily lives. Like, what's the big deal about, skipping your period every once in a while? What's the harm in it? Well, I'm glad that you asked. So I've previously talked about how PMS and painful periods, while common, are not normal, and your period should not disrupt your daily life to the point that you want to skip it altogether. But I realize that if you're here watching this, chances are that is not your reality. Chances are you do have PMS, that you do experience painful periods and then a lot of the symptoms that go along with it. And you're wondering, what is the big deal? So I guess it starts with reframing how you think about your period. So your period is a perfectly normal, healthy bodily function. In fact, in 2015, the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecology declared that menstruation is actually the fifth vital sign. So that puts menstruation, your period, in the same category as body temperature, pulse rate, respiration rate, and blood pressure, meaning that menstruation, along with these four other vital signs, should be considered an indicator of your overall health. So think about it. If we were to interfere with one of these four other vital signs, we would have a big problem on our hands. And I don't think that your doctor would ever advise you to ignore abnormal blood pressure. And yet this is precisely what doctors and healthcare professionals who are tasked with advising us about our overall health are essentially telling us to do by saying that it's perfectly normal, perfectly healthy to intentionally skip our periods. Just like it's critically important for our health that our four vital signs stay within normal parameters, it's equally important that we have a healthy menstrual cycle. And a healthy menstrual cycle, which includes a period, is an indicator of overall health and balanced hormones. And anything that disrupts or interferes with that can have a dramatic effect on not only our future health, but our future fertility. And this is the point where I think this messaging about skipping periods gets really confusing. But I don't want you guys to be fooled, because whether or not you are concerned about your fertility at this point, whether or not you're planning on having children now, later, or even never, it's important to have a healthy menstrual cycle regardless of your future reproductive goals. And this is what gets me so upset. So doctors will often suggest that it's perfectly safe for a younger person to skip their period if they're not planning on trying to conceive anytime soon. But the reality is that skipping your period over time can have lasting repercussions, just like ignoring something like high blood pressure. So what's the bottom line here, guys? Well, while it may be tempting to want to skip your period for a variety of reasons, the ways that we do so, typically through the use of hormonal contraceptives, can have lasting effects on our future health and fertility. And if you take into consideration that menstruation is the fifth vital sign, it's hypocritical for healthcare professionals to suggest that it's safe and healthy to skip one's period, where they would never, ever advise you against ignoring anything that's gone awry with one of your other four vital signs. In my opinion, frankly, I think it's insulting to our intelligence that those tasked with caring for our health and advising us are actually disregarding something that is so monumental to our overall health. But we cannot be complicit in this. We have to accept responsibility for our own lives, for our own health, for our own menstrual cycles. So these healthcare professionals are just playing to the crowd. So it's up to us to stand up and demand better for our health and our bodies. And with that, I will say thank you so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying this content. As always, don't forget to subscribe and click the little notification bell so that you don't miss any future video content. You can also find me on Instagram at Hillary Glaus and at _podcast. I have a podcast all about these topics where I go into so much more detail about female reproductive health, the menstrual cycle, periods, sexual empowerment, and you can find Podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So without further ado, here's to taking periods public one point blank conversation at a time. See you guys next time. Bye.